Thanks and welcome to the 6:15 with me, Kejang Henry Athimbe. We begin with our headlines. Happy end for 7 hostages in Gaundari, that is in the Adamawa, after the 5th Rapid Intervention Battalion carried out an operation in collaboration with vigilante communities. And the 6:15 will take a look at how power outages are severely affecting the implementation of digital learning despite efforts to integrate technology in the education system. And as President Donald Trump begins his second term as the 47th U.S. president, Africa is once again left wondering where it will fit in his vision. Fab stories. You may like to check us on our respective platforms on Canal International for consultation. There's a happy end for 7 hostages now freed in Gaundari in the Adamawa region of the country. An operation conducted by the 5th Rapid Intervention Battalion in collaboration with vigilante communities led to the release after ransom demand exceeding 20 million francs for some. Morindi comes back to that.
These are the 5 former hostages presented to local authorities, including the governor of the Adamawa region. According to the 5th Rapid Intervention Battalion, however, there are a total of 7 hostages, including a paramedic who was captured a few weeks ago near Nguayanga mining site. They asked for 20 million francs as ransom, but I told them I had nothing. These hostages are the result of operations conducted in Johong, in the Bere, and in Be, in the Vina. Among the spoils, 24 heavy weapons were seized, including 14 AK, 47 rifles and 10 hunting rifles, a total of 2,833 rounds of ammunition of various calibers, ammunition boxes, chains with locks, ropes, mobile phones, food products and other items were recovered after the criminals fled in the face of the bee. We have taken a series of measures aimed at ensuring that the population have peace in the Adamawa region. A lot of other operations are on the way to track down such criminals. We call on traditional authorities and vigilante groups to denounce such criminals. A ransom totaling 50 million CFA francs was demanded by the kidnappers. 2 of the kidnappers were killed by gunfire despite their use of protective charms. The incident has provoked fear in the neighborhoods and beyond.
And we take a look at how power outages are severely affecting digital learning and the implementation of digital learning in schools despite the integration of technology in the education system. Many teachers as well as learners have been complaining as a result of this fallacy. Once more, Maureen.
In this multimedia room at Government Bilingual High School Bepanda, students are engaging in online practical lessons, providing them with the opportunity to apply theoretical knowledge in real time.
She was showing all how to calculate in electrochemistry, calculation, the formula of the anode, cathode, and so many things.
This approach has been embraced by many secondary schools in Douala, including those of Government Bilingual High School Brazzaville and Bepanda, which have equipped their classrooms with tools designed to enhance learning through technology.
The Mediatek, we have a set of computers where each students can sit and learn at its own speed, while in classrooms we have video projectors with a teacher projecting a series of activities and the student follow up.
For the digitalized lesson, for example, some of those lessons are taking too much time. So we teachers are conceiving our own practical lesson.
We want to teach a volcano volcanic eruption, instead of being dictating a lot of notes on the manifestation or how it occurs, you just show a short video in 15 seconds. A student has clearly understood what is a volcanic eruption. In the same way, when we teach a subject like physics, movement of forces, so students easily acquire those knowledge than when you dictate, you give them bulky notes.
However, despite the advancements, the digital learning system is heavily affected by constant electricity outages. These frequent power cuts disrupt online lessons and hinder students' ability to access digital content.
When you plan a lesson where you have to use computers, you have to use video projectors, and the cease light, so the lesson for the day will be cancelled.
We are not well prepared with INEO and other. For now, the solution we take is to use computer, laptop.
The outages add to the challenges faced by teachers who often struggle to download lessons from the ministry's digital platforms due to slow internet speeds.
And residents in Douala are grappling with an alarming surge in rat infestation. The growing presence of this pest has become a source of distress in many households, as reports of extensive damage of property and mounting risk in health. Ambo Gladys.
Rat infestations continue to spiral out of control in neighborhoods across Douala, Cameroon's economic city. Residents report increasing encounters with the rodents, which not only damage household items but also disturb their peace.
Les souris là ça nous ennuie, ça déchire même les caleçons, on est fatigué de ça. Parfois ça déchire les habits des enfants, ça porte même l'argent, même tout ça, tu cherches si tu ne cherches tu ne vois pas.
Parfois certains souris qui ouvrent même la marmite, je ne sais pas voir dans de dormir, tu comprends la marmite, la couvert,
The surge in rat population has been attributed to poor waste disposal practices. Household waste, often left to accumulate around homes for extended periods before being discarded, serves as a major attraction. Homes with clutter and unsanitary conditions also provide an ideal breeding ground for the pest.
It's due to the fact that you can find those deaths everywhere.
Rats follow cross. If there are so many rats now, it's because there are also waste. The waste disposal is all over.
Veterinary experts have also raised alarms over the potential health implications linked to the infestation.
Les conséquences des souris,
Nelloses, which can pose significant bacteria and viruses through their urine, feces, and bites. That is why it is always advisable to clean our cutleries before we use them.
certaines maladies.
The growing audacity of the rodents seen invading homes without hesitation has left many families shaken. Some residents have even speculated that the rats could possess supernatural attributes, giving their fearless incursions environment clean and keep other pests like cats to drive the rats away.
And Prophet Tegue has declared his candidature for the upcoming presidential election in Cameroon. At the press conference held this Tuesday in Yaoundé, the man of God says God has revealed to him a vision to drive Cameroon through. Hyacinthia was part of that.
Before the national and the international press, this January 21st in Yaoundé, Prophet Joseph Tegue declares his intention to run for the country's top job this 2025.
Je déclare avec autorité que Jésus m'a dit de me présenter à la présidentielle en 2025.
The president of the African People's Renovator Movement outlined 3 reasons behind his decision.
The first reason is that my observation is that the people of Cameroon have been suffering for the last 43 years because of bad government. And so I believe I am able to change the situation of Cameroon to get people out of this mess, suffering and so on. The second reason is that I think Cameroon needs a president that is at the service of the people, who loves the people, loves the country, and who have the fear of God. The next president of Cameroon must be the one presented by Mr. Umnyobe in 1977, and I believe I'm the one.
Asked if he will be opened to join any form of coalition, he reiterates that only God will decide.
Coalition, like I said, I'm a prophet of God, and I will never go into something without asking God. I will ask God, there's no problem.
The economist and man of God also indicates that the movement created since 1991 is getting up from slumber this 2025 with strategy mobilization of Kenyans from all nooks and crannies of the country to register and vote when the time comes.
And the Constitutional Council has declared itself incompetent to deliberate on the matter pitting the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, the CRAM, against Electoral on the non-publication of the electoral, on the non-respect of the publication of the electoral register. In fact, the hearing was today and presided out by the President of the Constitutional Council, Keman Atangna. Beatrice Nkamo was there.
Lawyers of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement Party petitioned the Constitutional Council on the fact that till date, the election governing body, ELECAM, has not published the National Electoral Register, a violation of the Electoral Code, which stipulates this should be done not later than 30th December.
Section 80 obliges ELECAM, that is Electoral Board, and then the director, to publish the national list.
Thus, this January 21st hearing, after listening to the barristers, the President of the Constitutional Council, Clement Atangana, says he is not the competent authority to handle the matter.
Coming to the Constitutional Council without the Council having competence to hear the matter, they have no option but to declare themselves incompetent as they did.
Constitutional Council said it is incompetent and that it is the Court of Appeal that is competent after we've seized the Electoral Board.
The argument before the Constitutional Council to the CRM defense team.
They deemed that we had to seize the Electoral Board and then we go before the Court of Appeal. Unfortunately, the law sends us before the Electoral Board when there is already a national list and there are mistakes. That is when we go to the Electoral Board and then we can go before the Court of Appeal.
Section 81 of the Electoral Code provides that the concerned party should seize the Electoral Board. And when the Electoral Board gives a decision and you are not satisfied, you go to the Court of Appeal, who are going to give a decision in the first and last instance.
What brought them to the Constitutional Council, they say, is the fact that
as a date, we have 3 applications before the Electoral Board that have not received any reply and no answer. So that's why we came to the Constitutional Council. If that's the case now, we will stay on that. With that reason, we'll go to the Electoral Board.
So, the conclusion this day at the National Constitutional Council in Yaoundé.
No. And today the world celebrates National Holiday as the United States are celebrating National Hugging Day this January 21. The spotlight is equally turning on Cameroon, where the culture of hugging remains a taboo or not very common amongst folks. Now, this is widely accepted in some milieu, but then what are the therapeutic benefits of hugging? Sherifa Saleh takes a look at that.
In Douala, hugging is not a customary way of expressing affection. Many attribute this to traditional norms that have long shaped social interactions in the country.
Most often in our culture, we don't do hugging. We don't actually do that. So hardly practice that. Is when you miss somebody and the thing, maybe the excitement is too much that you hug.
While some Cameroonians avoid hugs out of respect for cultural practices, others secretly cherish the emotional release and comfort that a warm embrace can bring.
You hug somebody, you feel relief from maybe a stress that you were going through, headaches. That's just it.
Quand je suis en dépression et qu'on me fait un câlin, ça change.
Psychiatric experts highlight the scientifically backed benefits of hugging. They encourage Cameroonians to embrace the practice, not just for symbolic gestures, as a means to support health and happiness.
It generates the production of some hormones in the body that make you feel calmer, feel more ease, more comfortable. And when usually you feel that comfort, whenever you are having a hug with a particular person, you may associate that comfort to the person, which might help in strengthening the relationship with the person. It can also help to reduce the BP, the blood pressure. I'm not saying that it can cure high blood pressure, but it can help in reducing the blood pressure, to reduce the feeling of tense.
Could the embrace of hugging usher in a new culture of connection and care? As the world celebrates the joy of hugging, Cameroon is encouraged to consider how this small act could make a big difference.
Well, thanks very much, Sheriff Saleh. And as President Donald Trump begins his second term as the 47th U.S. President, Africa is once again on the spotlight and wondering where it is going to fit in Donald Trump's vision. Now, during his first term, there was conspicuous absence of Donald Trump's policy in Africa, but then it focused on business and diplomacy. But this time around, Tariq Divine takes a look on what's uncertain future for Africa.
As Donald Trump embarks on his second stint at the White House, questions are rising about his approach to Africa. His first term was marked by neglect. The U.S. president never visited the continent, which speaks volumes about his disregard for Africa. His wife Melania and daughter Ivanka were the ones who actually set foot on the continent in 2018 and 2019, but despite their efforts, U.S. aid, especially for women, dropped significantly. Trump's policies, particularly in health and military support, hit Africa hard. His administration slashed funds for key programs like malaria and HIV prevention and reintroduced restrictions on NGOs supporting abortion. He also pulled U.S. troops from places like Somalia and Darfur, signaling his disinterest in maintaining a strong military presence on the continent. Diplomatically, Trump favored deal-making over relationships. His administration supported Morocco on Western Sahara in exchange for Israel recognition, and in Sudan, sanctions were lifted for the same reason. Prosper Africa, his initiative to boost U.S. investments, was more about business than long-term partnerships. Looking ahead, Africa's future under Trump will depend on who he chooses to lead this Africa policy. If his approach remains transactional and focused on profit, Africa may see continued neglect. However, if there's a shift, new opportunities for real partnerships could arise. For now, it is clear under Trump, Africa is likely to remain a business opportunity and not a diplomatic priority.
And that draws the curtain for this edition of the 6:50 with me, John Henry Atembe. And of course, coming up will be the brief, l'actualité.